It all started on a quiet Friday evening.
It is going to be all right.
I had just picked up my 13-year-old stepson, Daniel, from his soccer practice. He was sweaty, tired, but smiling wide as he climbed into the car. The drive home was supposed to be simple, less than an hour back to our house. But fate had other plans. Halfway down a lonely stretch of highway, the car sputtered, shook, and then came to a complete stop. I tried the ignition again and again, but the only sound was the hopeless click of a dead engine. The night was quickly closing in, the air colder than we expected, and I could see Daniel's nervous eyes looking at me, waiting for reassurance I wasn't sure I had. I dialed for roadside assistance, but they told me the wait would be hours. Worse, the nearest tow truck couldn't take us home, it was too far. The only option was to tow us to the nearest small town, where we'd have to wait until morning for the mechanic to even open his shop. Daniel slumped back in his seat, clearly frustrated. Great, now we're stuck. I took a deep breath. Hey, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just one night. We'll figure it out. When the tow truck finally arrived, the driver dropped us off at a little roadside hotel. The neon sign buzzed faintly, casting a red glow against the cracked pavement. It wasn't fancy, not even close, but it was warm, safe, and had 2 small beds. Inside, Daniel kicked off his shoes, flopped onto the bed, and sighed. I could tell he was holding in more than he said. Being a step-parent isn't easy, you're always wondering if you're enough, if you're wanted. And in that moment, sitting in a cheap hotel room with my stepson, I worried that this breakdown would only make him resent me more. But then something surprising happened. Daniel looked over at me and said, "You know, it's kind of nice. Just us. No distractions. No rush." His words caught me off guard. For the first time that night, I smiled. We decided to make the best of it. The vending machine in the lobby became our restaurant. We got chips, candy bars, and 2 sodas, and Daniel laughed at how this was the worst dinner ever, but kind of the best. We sat cross-legged on the bed, sharing stories. He told me about school, about how sometimes he felt like he was in the shadow of his friends. I listened, really listened, and shared some of my own insecurities growing up. Later, when the TV refused to pick up more than 3 fuzzy channels, we turned it off and made up our own silly stories instead. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. And then, when the laughter settled, Daniel got quiet and said something I'll never forget. "You know, I was kind of mad when Mom remarried. I didn't think anyone could understand me like Dad did. But, you're not trying to replace him. You're just, you. And that's pretty cool." I swallowed hard, feeling tears sting my eyes. For months I'd been wondering if he would ever accept me. And here, in a tiny hotel room we never planned to be in, he had just given me my answer. The next morning, the mechanic fixed the car with a part that had been sitting on his shelf for months. By noon, we were back on the road, heading home. But something had changed between Daniel and me. We weren't just step-parent and stepchild anymore. We were teammates. Friends. Family. That night reminded me of something powerful. Sometimes, the breakdowns in life, the unexpected stops, are the very moments that build us up.